Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the new moon in Taurus. It's going to be happening today around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at 25 degrees. Well, we're at the new moon. New moons bring new beginnings in the traditional sense, and this is going to be a very interesting one. This moon, of course, happening here in Taurus is exaltation. But of course, no transit exists within a vacuum. We have to look at other planets to see what they're doing and to see what are the spices that are going into this, what are the ingredients, what are the spices that are going into the full meal that is this transit. But let's talk about the new moon itself. Here, 25 degrees of Taurus, right here, kind of towards the end of Taurus, right? And we got to remember that these last few degrees of Taurus have been kind of a bit of a hot spot here lately, right? We have Mercury that just came over the spot. Mercury, of course, right here at 28 degrees of Taurus, and by the time that the moon catches up to it, it will hit 29 degrees. So this moon is not even going to be able to go void, of course, because Mercury is right here, right? Now, we also have had Uranus, of course, the planet of electricity, of randomness, of we associate Uranus with like alien stuff, technology. It of course rules Aquarius, where Pluto is right now. It's the water bearer, and it's about this cosmic intelligence has been oscillating over these degrees for the past little bit here. Now Uranus, of course, is in Gemini, where it will actually, I think Uranus might retrograde back into Taurus ever so slightly. We'll have to look into that a little bit. But Uranus has been oscillating over this spot for a little bit. And what does Taurus rule? Well, it does rule our values. It does rule self-worth. It does, in many ways, rule this physical material world. If there was a planet to associate with Taurus outside of the moon being exalted here and Venus traditionally, I would say it's the Earth, right? So that's the interesting thing about this. This is the most this is the most earthly and physical of the Earth signs, being that it is fixed Earth. So it is tangible. It's what we can see. It's what we can pick up and touch. This is when our senses really start to come into play, is when you reach that Taurus energy, where we can see, touch, smell, all these different things, what we can hear. This is all Taurus energy. Taurus also rules the throat chakra. So there's this element here with this new moon, and with Mercury here, of course, Mercury being the planet of communication. A lot of people are going to be speaking the truth and speaking about what they truly value and what they truly want. Now, of course, we have to look at some of the other planets, what they're doing. I'm going to hop into the charts to show you, but we have this major conjunction that's happening here in Aries. We still have a lot of this Aries energy, but we have Mars, the planet of war, meeting up with the wounded healer Chiron. And it's going to be exact today at the time of this new moon as well. So we have two major conjunctions. We have Mercury, of course, here at the end of Taurus. We have Uranus that is in Gemini. We still have these other planets that are in Aries as well, with Neptune and Saturn. And Jupiter's just hanging out by himself over there in Cancer. Definitely some intense, interesting energy. And I think we can all feel that there is some new things that are coming forward, and we can start to try and move things forward. But it's going to really come down to us looking within our soul, within our spirit, and ask ourselves, what do we truly value? What do we really want to manifest? What do we want to vibrate with and law of attract into our lives? It's interesting, over the last little bit, I discovered, Spotify now has these audiobooks, right? And one of the audiobooks is talking about the 12 laws of the universe. And one of the course of the main laws that people have learned and has entered the common zeitgeist, if you will, is of course the law of attraction, which is just one of these laws. And for a while now, I've been talking about the law of vibration without it really being, without reading about it and stuff like that. But I've always thought, I was like, well, it's not just enough to try and want something and to desire something and to attract it. You have to be a vibrational match for that thing. This is why a lot of people that only use the law of attraction to kind of bring things into their life, a lot of times they fail because they're not actually a vibrational match for the thing that they're trying to bring in. I still have to listen to the rest of it, but it's very interesting. And I think this is one of those new moons that is going to, ironically, you would think that full moons are mirrors, and they are, but I think this new moon is going to give us an opportunity to kind of look at the desires and even some of the physical things and the resources that we want to bring into our life. And it's going to ask us, are we actually a vibrational match for these things that we want in our life? Do we actually, the values that we say we have, do we back up that with our actions, with our words, and with our deeds? So let's hop into the chart so I can show you guys what in the world I'm talking about. So as you can see, we have this new moon here at 25 degrees 57 minutes of Taurus, so it's effectively 26 degrees, really close, right? And it's interesting considering the closeness of this, because like I said, we have Mars and Chiron. Mars finally pushing past Chiron here at 28 degrees. It is 1 minute past Chiron. This is a new moon of resilience. Chiron being the wounded healer, we have all gone through things that we feel can substantiate this desire or need to be, caressed, to be held, and we're licking our wounds. And it's like talking about, like, oh, I've been a victim in this area, I've been a victim in that area. The fact that Mars, at the time of this new moon, has moved just 1 minute past this Chiron, what this tells me is that the people that come out of this new moon are going to be the ones that are resilient and have integrity. The ones that move past this are going to be the ones that, despite all of the pain, despite the anguish, despite the fact that you may feel like something has been taken away from you. You got to remember, Chiron in mythology had his immortality taken away from him, and yet he became a teacher of the centaurs. We have to learn and have to be able to push past all of that, because that is where our true superpower lies, right? Look at all this energy that we have at the end of their signs. Mars and Chiron, 28 degrees. The moon and the sun and Mercury here at the end of Taurus. We have Venus here at 27 degrees of Gemini, getting ready to sextile this energy with Mars and Chiron. You can even include Jupiter, which is in that final decan of Cancer as well, kind of leading the charge of this whole thing. This is a new moon. So if you look at it from a numerological standpoint, 2 plus 5 is 7, and 7 is Neptune, 7 is Spirit. Anything is possible. This is one of those things where the universe is going to be like, here is the catalog of what you can order. And you look at it and you're like, holy crap. There are endless possibilities. But considering that this is so close to the 26th degree, there is an element of Saturnian energy. 2 plus 6 is 8, 8 is Saturn. There is an element of Saturnian energy where it's going to be like, you have to remain in integrity. You have to take personal responsibility. You have to take accountability for your words, for the things that you say, for the actions that you take. There are consequences for these things, positive, negative, and neutral. And that's what this new moon is going to be teaching us. This is giving us a great opportunity to really move forward and to spring some great new energy forward. But we still have to look at, what have we been communicating to ourselves? What have we been communicating to others? What have we been communicating to God, the universe, our inner world? You look at your life around you, and no matter what situation you are in, you have law of attracted that into your life because you are a vibrational match for it, whether you did so intentionally or unintentionally, right? And like I said, I want to get through all of the laws too, and I think this might even become another video where I may even just talk about my thoughts on each chapter of this, because I know one of the first laws that they talked about was the law of universal oneness, and how we are all one, and that every action, everything that we say affects everyone around us, because it goes down the line. And I think that's something that we have to take into consideration. Oh man, this new moon hit me kind of hard, because yesterday I did something where I kind of acted, I'm not even going to say necessarily out of character. I think I engaged an aspect of myself that I rarely engage with. And this is a part of me that is a little bit more on the darker, scorpionic, I'm going to sting you much harder than you sting me kind of vibe. And there are times where I can use that energy in a positive way. And there are times where I can use that energy, and most times when Scorpios using this energy, it's usually in a way that they ultimately end up stinging themselves. And it's just, you have to live with those consequences, negative, positive, or neutral. But with this sort of energy here, we are being given a great opportunity to really ask the universe and to really tell the universe what we want. Who we are ultimately too, because like I said, this Mars and Chiron here in Aries, this is calling into character, who are you? Who are you? And of course with Saturn here and Neptune here as well, that's really what this comes down to. So, you know, let's just kind of move this forward just a little bit, you know, just so we can see, because I'm pretty sure the moon is going to conjunct that Mercury right at the end, or if not, it's going to be pretty much right when they go into Gemini. So yeah, the moon is going to hit Mercury at 29 degrees. Now this is going to be this will be happening later on this evening around 10:01, pretty much 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see that moon that's going to conjunct Mercury here at 29 degrees. So this is kind of the moment. It's like I felt like the new moon is when we are presented with the catalog, in that at 10 o'clock tonight or whatever, this is when we kind of make our decisions, and this is when we actually write down and check off the boxes of the things that we actually want. This is going to be that moment, right? And as you can see, Mars is still in conjunction with its Chiron. So if you are too invested in your traumas, your pain, your hurts and stuff, and you make a decision based off of that, right, on the negative side of it, right, then you will continue to manifest more of that. Now, if you take that stuff, because it's not like we can just forget about the pain. It's not like we can just forget about the hurt and our scarring. But if you take that and be like, you know what, this thing happened to me. This sucked. This royally sucked. What I want to manifest, though, is the ability to take that suck and transform it in a way where I can better my life and ultimately better the lives of the people around me. Whether I become a teacher, whether I just share that story with other people that may be going through that same thing, or maybe I encounter someone 5 years or 10 years down the road that's going to be going through what I went through, and I can provide them some insights as to how I handled it. And that maybe they can use those same things. This is about teamwork makes the dream work. We got to help each other out with this. You know, you can't just be at each other's throats all the time. Literally, this is Taurus, the rules of throat chakra. We can't just be at each other's throats all the time. So this is going to be that moment, like I said, where we actually kind of make our choices. Now, what's funny about this is that once that, what happened? Let's see. There we go. We are back. Okay. Now, the interesting thing about this is that once that moon crosses over into Gemini, it's going to conjunct Uranus. So you know what moment this is about? This is going to be the moment where the universe makes its edits. Because we're going to make our choices, and the universe is going to be like, okay, that's good. We're going to adjust that. We're going to tweak that a little bit. We're going to morph this a little bit. And the reason why I say this is because Uranus is always going to throw a wrench into the plans. It's always going to bring something that we just did not expect. And the fact that this being disposited now by a Pluto that is retrograde in Aquarius, there's a review period. I always say that when planets are retrograde, they are in review. So this is going to be the moment. Like, we're going to make our choices, you know, writing down and checking off the boxes in the catalog of the universe of the things that we want. And then boom, as soon as we do that, the moon's going to hit Uranus, which is being disposited by a Pluto that is in the review period in Aquarius, and it's going to transform those decisions, and probably for the better. And that's the good thing about this. And the reason why this is happening is because we as humans, we simply don't know. We simply don't always know what is best for us. We seldom do. We can make educated guesses in the direction of what we think is best for us, but ultimately we don't know. But things will always turn out the way that they're supposed to. And we have God to thank for that. We have the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, energy. We have that to thank for it. Now, there could be some frustration, of course, that comes from this, because when these things actually make manifest, and we'll first start to see the first seeds or the saplings of this manifestation when we get to the next full moon, there could be some frustration as to, wait, no, I didn't ask for that. And God, universe, source will be like, well, no, not exactly, but I know what's best, and this is what you're going to receive. This is going to be where we have to let go and let God. I'm going to use that phrase. This is when we have to let go and let God, because it ultimately knows what's best. All right? Let's go to the full moon and just to see, or let's just kind of move this forward. Let's I'll move it forward about a week or so we can get to. All right, so we'll hit that first quarter square, which of course will happen several hours before, but looks like it's going to be happening around 2 degrees of Virgo to Gemini. By this time, Mercury at its home, moving very, very fast to Gemini, is already going to be almost halfway through it, and Venus is going to be in Cancer, so it's going to bring up some more emotion and stuff like that, especially when it comes to, our relationships. Mars will be in Taurus at this point too, right? Now, we move forward another week, of course, and then we will be at the end of May, and you can see that we are going to be having the full moon right here on the last day of the month. Really at the beginning of the last day, we're going to be seeing this happen around 9 degrees. Now, Mars, of course, will be at 9 degrees as well, so we have a harmony of energy right there. Mercury, of course, will be here at the end of Gemini. Venus is catching up to Jupiter at this time as well. We will have all of that energy right there. So, that full moon happening at 9 degrees of Sagittarius, which is kind of interesting because that's going to be conjunct to my ascendant. My ascendant is 8 degrees, so it's going to be right there at my ascendant. Let me push that add down. I know I'm not in my normal setup, because I usually use my Astro Gold for all of this sort of stuff, but I'm at my day job, so this is what we got. So that's the interesting thing. The moon being in Sagittarius is going to be we're going to be more emotionally tied to our beliefs in many ways. So when we see the first manifestations of this new moon, we're going to be like, wait, that's not what I manifested. I don't believe I manifested this. Oh, yes, you did, though. Oh, yes, you did. And that's the thing, too, about it. There's always going to be, like I said, there's always going to be that tiny little wrench that's going to get thrown into our plans. But ultimately, I believe it's going to be for the best. We also have Chiron here right at the end of Aries. This is when things are going to become even more intense, where people are going to be using their traumas and their wounds and banging people over the head with them. Chiron in Aries is the extreme form of me. It's all about me. That's the extreme edge form of that. Be careful to not go into that world of just me. This is where you're going to see some of the most selfish, prideful moves that people make. They continually bang their head into the wall because they want something and they just simply can't have it. Now remember, Aries is a very young energy. It's very youthful. So Chiron here at the end, this is going to the extreme of you're going into the grocery store and your mom won't buy you the candy bar that you want. You fall to the ground and start throwing a tantrum. It's wait, no, God, I asked for a Snickers bar. You gave me a Milky Way. What the fuck? This is about appreciating those things, because Taurus is also about appreciation in many ways. Being thankful, being grateful for the things that we have and our surroundings in many ways. You have to be grateful for it. Gratitude is going to be huge here. It's going to be key. And also being open to the process. We have to be open to the process. We have to let go and let God. And yeah, there's always going to be that element where we want to kind of bitch, moan, and complain about the shit. And be like, fuck, that's not what I wanted. Well, it's where we are. And the way to get through this is through resilience. The way to get through this is going to be resilience and integrity. And to acknowledge and understand that we simply just don't know everything. And we don't always know what's best for us. We don't always know what's best for other people. So we have to let go and let God. And I definitely recommend over these next 2 weeks to convene with God, get in nature, especially, I mean, Taurus does rule nature as well in many ways. But definitely, especially once that sun gets into Gemini and stuff like that too, especially when it goes over Uranus, talk, pray, however you need to connect to Spirit and Source over these next 2 weeks to just ask to be open to, because you don't want to be too open because you don't necessarily want to let negative entities in, but ask to just be open to the process, ask to be open to the beautiful things that are going to be coming in, even if it might be packaged in a way that we don't want it to be. That's the thing, you know. There are going to be some people, there's going to be some rich person out there that's going to get a new car and they wanted a Lamborghini and their parents buy them like a Chevy or something like that. Not knowing that that new car probably comes with a host of problems and the Chevy is going to be like perfect for them and get them to point A to point B. My dad literally just kind of went through something like this, actually. Because most people will look at it and say like, oh my god, he downgraded his car. No, actually, it was an upgrade. It was actually an upgrade. So that's the thing about this. It's like, you may ask for a Corvette. God may give you a Camry or something like that. But what you don't know is that Corvette, metaphorically, comes with a host of issues. That's going to make it more expensive and much more of a pain for you to have to deal with. So don't get caught up on the way that something is packaged, but look at the essence of it, right? And look at its capabilities and its ability to withstand. Taurus is all about endurance as well. If I was making like an RPG based off of like the Zodiac, and if I had to give skills or certain points to certain things of what each sign would represent, Taurus is endurance. It's either endurance or stability. It's either one, but I would say it's endurance, if anything. You could also say defense maybe, but I would say it's endurance. So, and you're far more stronger than you give yourself credit for. I think that's the thing about this too. So, yeah. I have no cards to pull because I don't have any cards on me or anything like that. I need to carry a set of tarot cards with me, if anything. But like I said, this is going to be a new moon where we are making our choices right now. Everyone's making their choices and their picks right now. But prepare to have your choices altered in a sense. And then be prepared to be open to what you receive as well. Be prepared to be open to what you receive, because ultimately that is what's going to be for the best for your development, your spiritual development, your emotional, mental, physical development. Ultimately, that's what's going to be best. So that's what I have for you guys. Blah. That's what I have for you guys for this new moon in Taurus. I trust this message will assist you on your journey. I'm not really going to make any predictions for the next couple of weeks. All I'm really going to be saying, if there's anything that you take out of this video, is that over the next 2 weeks, be open to the process, pray, convene, meditate, be with God, and that's all you have to do. So I will see y'all next time. Y'all take care, stay blessed, and yeah, peace.